Vtubers, a relatively new phenomenon that's taken the world by storm, one stream at a time. But what are they? Why are they so popular, and why do people want to be this form of content creator over using their IRL selves, or fleshtubers as we call them? To answer that, I reached out to several fellow Vtubers to get their opinions. Shumai pals, I'm Kero and you're watching B Vtuber. I'll be your resident interviewer in a video. Vtubers, or virtual YouTubers, are avatars like this that can be controlled by a person via webcam, microphone, hand tracking, or even full VR setups. But what exactly is a Vtuber? Well, let's ask.
A VTuber is somebody who is portraying themselves online as a virtual character. It doesn't matter if it's in the 2D form, if it's in the 3D form, you are portraying yourself as a character online. For me, being a VTuber is all about being the character that I create.
A VTuber is someone who decides to use a digital avatar instead of their physical face or body. So if it's still just a still image that flashes, a moving 2D model or a fancy 3D model like this, or even just an app that shows their face instead of something else, it's a VTuber.
A VTuber is anyone who decides that they want to chronicle their adventures online, but doesn't personally want to represent themselves and their brand. Usually, this kind of comes in the form of using an avatar to represent a character in like video content or streamed content. Although some VTubers, they blur the lines because they do cosplay streams, and honestly, I think that's pretty cool too.
VTuber is someone who has a fictional avatar represent themselves when they're streaming. Some people go the whole 9 yards and do whole, personas for it. And then there are people like me who don't. They're just mascots.
Pretty much anybody who makes content using a virtual avatar is a VTuber as far as I'm concerned. So live 2D, 3D, PNG, or even Vtubers. I've seen a couple of those, and some of them look really, really cool.
A VTuber is anybody that makes content, streams, YouTube, tweets, art, anybody that makes that kind of art with a kind of model or persona that they use, a la either models, 2D, 3D, reactives, any kind of content like that.
To me, a VTuber is someone who chooses to express themselves in a way that isn't constrained by the limits of reality. The ultimate culmination of vocal talent, artistic talent, technical skill, and personality.
VTubing is a very big umbrella that covers a lot of people. It's not really something that is truly definable.
Anybody who uses a virtual avatar is a VTuber, no matter what kind of virtual avatar it is.
VTubers does not have to be cute ooh woo anime girls. I know several people who are like ghosts and eyeball and just full on animals too. It doesn't matter as long as you're having a good time and your character design is your own. It'll be awesome. Yeah, that's a VTuber to me.
There's a lot of different ways to be a VTuber. PNGTubers are a great starting point, and I have a few videos on how to do that. I'll link those below. Same with 3D VTubers, like myself. We're a great entry point, and with apps like vroid Studio, you're set. A lot of bigger names also use 3D, so it's not just an entry point. A lot of people are doing really well with them. We have super creative alternatives, such as Vtubers, like Kero, whom you just met. Then there's live 2D. A lot of people in the West treat this like it's the goal. There are heated debates to be found on the Twitter that say 2D is the only true form of VTubing, and that's absolute bullshit. But now we know the what about the why? I became a VTuber because I wanted to have a lot of fun creating and playing a role, while also having my privacy and personal life unavailable just by clicking on a video. It limits me in several ways, because I don't ever intend to do a face reveal or go for the fleshtuber route, which would let me be a lot more free in some of the content I make. In the end, I'm happy with the decision I made to be a VTuber. But why did you guys choose this over an alternative?
I chose to become a VTuber for a few reasons. One is that I never had wanted to be a streamer or YouTuber that shows their face. I wouldn't do it any other way. I like having this persona, and I love being able to express myself in ways that regular streaming just can't.
A lot of artists, way back before VTubing was a thing, we would use like little scribbles of ourselves in the corner, if we even did that, to represent ourselves. So this is a fun way to show ourselves without actually having to show ourselves. So my content creation really hasn't changed much in the past 10 years or so.
So there's a couple of reasons. The fact that I could stay anonymous was huge for me when I first started being a VTuber. So it was more like a how can I stream and be entertaining at the same time while keeping up my anonymous anonymous persona. But I was also already a smaller content creator. Just like within my little circle of friends, I would stream games that I played, or I would make art, or write fan fiction. So I was already somebody who was already creating content, but just not on a very large scale like when I became a VTuber.
I think it started out after I saw a few VTubers show up on my feed. And also seeing some hololive and VShojo girls before they became a part of VShojo. I really like the idea of not having to use my actual face. I've always had like self-confidence and body issues, so that's probably the reason why I decided to do this. Yeah, but that's about it there. I was really intrigued with it, so that's why I decided to start this. I'm really glad I did though. I love doing this. A lot of fun, and it's fun to stream and have a good time.
I actually did try to become a number of other things, including a regular IRL stream. Ultimately, I felt that I had no ability to stand out as I was. But being able to visually express myself as I want to be seen, rather than by my physical reality, I feel that VTubing has allowed me to overcome what I could not as a regular person.
I choose to become a VTuber because I love the idea of creating my own storyline and creating my own character. The story behind Agari Uchu is something that I am fascinated with, and I am constantly wanting to create lore with, and I would love people to be interested in the ideas that I have constantly whirling around in my head. Being a VTuber gives me this opportunity to express my creativity rather than being a regular type of content creator, where I felt like I was more limited in what I could do. But now I feel like I have a story to write. I feel like I have a book that I can constantly write in or adjust if needed. I don't feel like I'm pressured to be just not creative.
I became a VTuber because I wanted an outlet for my creative things. I love to game, and I've been having a good time making art. Being a VTuber is like an excellent way to share my epic gamer moments with people, and also give me creative freedom over like the entire process, you know? I get to design my page, my stream, my alerts. I get to kind of do everything, and that's really nice.
I've dabbled in the three main forms of VTubing. I started out as a PNGTuber, moved to live 2D, and then finally found my happy place in being a 3D VTuber. What works for one person doesn't work for another. I decided that having the ability to fully control my model, with increasing ability depending on what forms of body tracking I add to myself, is the ultimate goal for me, and I'm super happy with where it's taken me. Long term, I'd like to get a really fancy 2D model if I could get the exact artist, the one of my dreams. But I still think I'd spend most of my time in 3D because it's what I love. What about you guys? Have you thought about trying any other style of model?
Well, I am currently a 2D VTuber, and it seems to lend itself well to my very particular art style. And I thought it would also have a lower barrier to entry. Though I also have a little bit of experience with 3D art and rigging, so I may be working on a super duper secret project for the future, but shh, don't tell anyone.
I went with 2D because 2D was something that I had always been interested in. I don't mind 3D models. I think 3D models are really cool, and I think 3D models have a lot of skill to get into or to properly use. If I'm going to be honest, I went with 2D because it was going to be easier on me to provide the technology for that, which all I use for my facial tracking is an iPhone XR that I got off of eBay for like $200. So I went with 2D because it was more, it's easier for my PC to run as well. Not everyone has a beefy PC like I do, or, you know, like other people do. I decided to take the stress off more by using a 2D model, because running a 3D model, and depending on all the plugins and stuff that you use for it as well, can take a lot more of a number on your CPU or your GPU or whatever it may be that you're using to render out your 3D model. I do have a 3D model. I probably will only be using it exclusively for VR chat, but it does have an outfit that I did unveil at one point to where I call it Casual Agari. I do plan on getting that version of my model made in a 2D model, but otherwise I plan to continue to stay 2D.
As it's mostly a problem of time availability, I'm currently stuck as a PNG. I do have plans to finish my live 2D model before my debut. Partly for myself, but also because I want to provide the best and most fun visual experience for the people who come and watch my streams.
I actually started out as a PNG streamer because I didn't have a lot of money, nor did I know how to work vroid when it was in its alpha stage. Yeah, alpha stage. It was really complicated, and I was like, I'm not gonna. So I commissioned one of my friends to make me a PNG model, and it was a great, amazing idea. I was actually using the really old method of where you use a Discord reactive image, and you had to like set up your own server and use your own personal call and like do all that fun stuff. That was a lot of work. Now that Vtube Mini is a thing, I switched over to that, and then vroid Studio got switched over to an alpha version, and it runs great and amazing. And I just made all this with vroid and then added my own assets that I just added and paid for. It worked out great. I might switch over to Live 2D, but I might just use a mixture of like Blender 3D model if there's like a nice enough one, because I like the fact of like moving my hands and interacting with my audience. Maybe one day get like even better hand tracking once that becomes a thing.
I am a reactive GIF in a pixel art style that I had created myself. Why did I choose to do this? Well, one, it was cheap, technically free. Two, I make pixel art and I like animating it. And three, yeah, it's a little different too. Not many people are using reactive GIFs. It seems that more people are doing it now than when I started, but I enjoy it. Now, do I have any plans to change that? Not necessarily change, but add on to, I will be getting a live 2D model. I'm expecting it sometime in September. I may have it by the time this video is up. I will be getting a live 2D. I will be using alongside this, and at some point I would love to get a live 2D in a pixel art style.
I have a lot of models, actually. I have a 2D model, I have a 3D model, I have a PNG. I like them all, and I will continue to have them, and I will have more. So many more. There will be many models.
I think I'll probably stay with Live 2D for a long while. It's because I find it very versatile, and I very much enjoy having the Live 2D as opposed to the 3D. I had a 3D model when I first started out, and I improved on it a ton, but it got to the point where I couldn't do much else to make it more like what I wanted. So we ended up having to look into Live 2D, and turns out I really like it. I really like this style of model. I don't think that 3D is any less, but for now I think that I'm stuck in the Live 2D the Live 2D hole. I don't see myself giving it up anytime soon.
Vtubing has been increasing in popularity now for a few years. People are making full-time careers of it, and with that, a lot of people are coming along expecting to become rich and famous overnight just by being an anime character. Unfortunately, that's not how it works in any form of content creation. However, I do think it's a really fun step into the world of content creating without having to reveal your identity. It can be expensive, especially if you choose to go the Live 2D route, or want everything fully customized and unique without being able to do it by yourself. But if you want to become part of a growing world of amazing creators and characters, I'd definitely say go for it. But don't just take my word for it.
I would always recommend VTubing to someone who thinks they can handle it. It's a lot of work, and I mean a lot of work. It's a lot of work, sometimes a lot of money, but you don't have to make it a lot of money. You just need at least a microphone, and that's about it for VTubing, because that's all you need for PNG. It started as a hobby for me, though. Now it's a part-time job on top of a full-time job that I already have. So it is a lot of work, and so yeah, I really enjoy doing what I do. I really do enjoy doing what I do. I don't think I could ever, go back and stop. I'm glad I started this.
I would recommend first that people do their research before they get into VTubing, because it's not just a simple turn on your VTube studio or your VC face and then just sit there and play video games. It's also not so much a chase every trend that happens kind of thing either. So you kind of have to have a sense of timing, and there's also a lot of pressure and a lot of stress to stay relevant. So I would suggest that people look into it and see what all goes into VTubing before you just get into it and then get burnt out. That's just my suggestion, though. You can definitely do it casually, but just know what you're getting into before you start, and that's my recommendation. But I would recommend it because it is very fun, and it became such a huge part of my life unexpectedly.
I would definitely recommend it. If you want to have a character and you want to do it, you should do it. And it's as simple as that.
I would recommend it based on a lot of different things. But overall, I would recommend it, yes. If you have a passion for it, if you like to entertain people, if you like to create content, I would say yes. I would definitely recommend it. If you are looking for it to profit or get some kind of following, I would say no. I would not recommend it. Well, maybe not a following, but for profit, I would not recommend it. And I say not for profit as a lot of time and money goes into making models. A lot of the biggest streamers that have the nicest models, these cost well over $1,000 or into the thousands of dollars to make, and long times as well. So if you do not have a job or a stable income or anything, I would not recommend it. If you're an artist and you can do it yourself, I would definitely recommend it. But otherwise, yeah, it's a bit of a maybe. But if you have a passion for it, then yes, of course. There's lots of free resources out there as well.
Being a VTuber isn't for everyone. I'll definitely say that much. Some days it feels like even I'm not cut out for this. But then I remember that this is the dream that I wanted to realize. This is more than just a hobby to me. It doesn't have to be like that for everyone though, and you can definitely do it just for fun. But there has to be a certain dedication to the process. VTubing really is the purest form of getting out of it what you put in.
I absolutely would recommend being a VTuber if you would want to get in. You don't even need to be a 3D model or a 2D model. You do not need to. You can even just start off as a regular PNG model. I know that there are plenty of creators out there who will upload their little PNGs to Etsy, and then they'll sell it for a good couple bucks. Or even Fiverr, you can go to Fiverr and you can buy a PNG, or even just scrolling through Twitter, you can find people who do PNG VTubers, 2D models or 3D models. You can find anyone, anywhere, pretty much at any price. As long as they are trusted amongst the community, which thankfully with like Fiverr and Etsy, there's trusted sources on there, so even if something bad does happen, you can get it handled. Twitter is going to be the more, you're going to be not tested, but you're going to make sure that everything is, legitimate. But I would 100% recommend it because the amount of friends that I've made, the community that I've grown as a VTuber has been one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life. I would say I am extremely happy with where I am today as a VTuber.
Thanks for watching B Vtuber. We do hope you enjoyed it, and let us know your thoughts in the doofer below. If you did enjoy it, we'll make more episodes like this and even answer some questions you guys might have. But for now, don't forget to like and subscribe. Double daps till next time.